important topics for FA1 examinations from first chapter about scientific skills and process skills. Here you can see in this picture, students are catching the seeds and they are putting into the soil, different types of soil. In which soil it will be growing, you need to hypothesis. Bean seeds kept there and planning an experiment. And here you can see bean seeds used, which of the things are disturbing the experiment into thing. So types of soils will be there, two types of soils, three types of soils used, and bean seeds and different kinds of seeds we can use. So this kind of question will be asked in your examination, and while answering this question you need to think first hypothesis, processing skills, scientific skills. How to answer these types of questions? When we put these seeds or sow into the soil of different types of soil, then after few days, depending upon types of soil, then the seedlings will be growing. If the soil is very good, means then the plants will grow very faster and germinate. And then if the soil is having weak properties or unhealthy properties, then the seeds cannot grow well. Some seeds may die, some seeds will grow very slower. So hypothesis is the main thing here. So in exam you need to remember hypothesis. And after that, variables will be there. Here you can see these variables. Variables also play a major role. Which of the variables are disturbing the experiment, you need to think. If you just put the different kinds of soil, here you can see sunlight, rainfall, two parameters usually will be considered in this activity. And in clay, sandy soil, if we put on day 3 1.8 centimeter, and 6th day 2 centimeter, and in clay 1.5 centimeter height grown and 1.7 centimeter grown on the 6th day, and in the potting soil 1.8 centimeter and 2 centimeter. So if you see, sandy soil and potting soil are having equal properties such that the plant has grown very fastly. Like this you need to hypothesize, and after that some experiments will be there. You need to decide, and you need to note in a book. 3 types of soils are there. Which plant has grown much? If you see here, this type of soil is slow growth. This type of soil is an average, and this is the perfect one. Why? Because sandy soil, which is filled with soil and sand, such that air will be passed into that plant, and sufficient materials also will be there in this soil, such that the roots penetrate into the deeper layers of the soil, so it can accelerate the growth of the plant. And next, processing skills. These you need to remember for FA1 revision test. Observe, compare, classify. Use the senses to learn about objects and events. Compare means identify characteristics of things and events to find how they are like or different. Classify, group or organize objects or events in categories based on specific characteristics. Then if you try to collect these kind of shells in front of your home or near any construction area or nearby beach, then you will first observe these all. Then you will compare which is bigger, which is smaller. After that you will classify. So this is the work Charita is doing here. And Aravind performs a different activity with the help of light. So he collects batteries, wires and light. So with the help of perfect batteries, the light glows. So in this experiment, if light is not glowing, there will be some problems, variables disturbing. There might be problem with the bulb or with the wire or with the help of batteries. So while doing experiments here, we need to always follow processing skills. These are the processing skills. Gather data by making observations that will be useful for inferences or predictions. Record data by writing down the observations in the form of table or graph in a notebook. Display data by making tables, charts or graphs. Interpret data by drawing conclusions about what the data shows. This processing skills here in this textbook only you have separately with milk. Here process skills, other thing. Use a model, predict, infer. By using a model, make a model to help you understand an idea, an object or an event such as how something works. Predict. Form an idea of an expected outcome based on observations or experience. Info. Use logical reasoning to explain events and draw conclusions based on observations. So any object, for example, if you are making a rocket at your home, so use a model. With the help of rocket, we need to use a model, and we have an idea and an object how to start the rocket. After that, you need to predict if you do this activity whether the rocket works well or not. After that, doing experiment or activity, you need to infer what you have understood from that, and you need to draw conclusion. That means you made an activity of rocket. After that, it worked well. Then you need to use that processing skills in this manner. After that, Sweta is one activity is there. She has soaked three different kinds of cloths in water, and then she want to know that in some time, that means in some of the time, what will be happen to the different types of cloths when dipped in the beakers. Then you can see silk, cotton, and rayon. Silk will absorb very less water, rayon will absorb no water, cotton will absorb much water. Depending upon the time, then Sweta has learned cotton is the best cloth to absorb water by this activity. Then what she followed here, activity they won't ask here, processing skills. She followed hypothesis, planning and conducting experiment, and controlled variables. Make a statement about an expected outcome. Hypothesis means here she want to know which cloth is best suited for absorbing water. And planning and conducting, she conducted this experiment by different kinds of cloths by maintaining time sense. And controlling variables, controlling variables means here water level she maintained accurately and the time she has selected in an accurate position. And after that, here she has taken three different kinds of cloths, that means silk, cotton, and rayon. Reading comprehension is there in the textbook in 8th class. Any chapter if you are reading means you need to have the meanings of the chapter, and you need to think what you are reading, and any vocabulary words are getting here. One name macaque is there, so endemic species is there. This kind of hard words are getting means you need to pronounce it properly and use the organized vocabulary words. So this table will explain to how to read and observe and understand the meaning of the paragraphs in 8th class, as it is higher standard. So you need to see each and every para with a common sense. This is what they explained. And after reading also, you need to ask yourself that how much you have understood this para. If you are seeing a picture, what are the pictures are there, any connection is there from one picture to another picture, and what are these pictures have you seen any time. These kind of questions you need to make yourself. And then you need to have a precise handwriting. You need to write a very neat handwriting, and writing about what you have learned in science helps others understand your thinking also. And write the letters which are very hard in the textbook and making notes in your book. And then sometimes you need to measure the data using numbers, interpretation of data. This kind of data will be there, you need to follow, and such kind of data will display and helps to understand what you have learned perfectly. And important skills also important, that these process if you follow means you are going to become the scientist. The main intention of this first chapter is about to become scientist. What are the procedures we need to follow. Then next here you have interpretation of data. She is using a scale here and also using a bar graph. This type of representation of data is called as bar graph, and this will help what you have understood well, such as thermometer, clocks, timers, rulers, and a spring balance, scale, beakers, and any containers to measure the liquids we will use. And while representing the data, what we need to do is that to represent in a tables, charts, graphs. These are the good tools to display data so that it can be interpreted very easily. And next one here, as we discussed here about Sweta, how she performed the experiment. The next here pie chart is there. So in one country, cows, buffaloes, goat, donkey, camel, milk is available. So by representing here, can you see different color used for different types of elements here. Cows are producing larger amount of milk in that area, and buffaloes are producing very average, and then last goat, donkey, camel will constitute less percentage. So if this pie chart completely, if we make 100%, then this area is larger than 50%. That means 60% cows of cows milk are taking. And next one we have science, safety in science thing is there. First one, it is about, many are there, 7 are there here. Be aware, oops, watch your eyes, yeah, protect from yourself from shocks, be neat. These kind of things are there, you need to follow for this thing. And in science lab, think ahead, keep it clean. These are also important scientific measurements. In a laboratory, how you need to perform, what you need to, how you need to behave. This clearly I have explained in previous chapter 1, basics chapter. So for FA1, these chapter, from first chapter, these basics if you learn means you can write well.